What's up, boxing fans? This is TBE Boxing, back at you again. Today's topic, Loma and Teofimo, the best, fighting the best, not ducking cherry pickers like Spence and the PBC fighters. Let's check it out and see what it's all about.
Got the money for minutes, pretty bitch, gotta show me titties. This is the life that I chose, huh? On the block with the pole, huh? This is the life that I chose, huh? On the block with the pole, huh? This life before riches, huh? This life before riches, huh? Pretty bitch, show me titties, huh? And I got the glizzy, run up on me, I'ma make you get it. I'ma make you get it.
Okay, boxing fans, we're live. All right, so TBE Boxing, back at you again. Okay, get ready to chop it up. Today's topic, as you all know, Loma and Teofimo, the best fighting the best, not ducking cherry pickers like Spence and the PBC fighters. New unified WBC, WBA, IBF Kingpin Teofimo Lopez, after defeating Vasily Lomachenko, immediately accepts WBC champ Devin Haney's challenge to become undisputed at 135 pounds. The champ Teofimo is a breath of fresh air, the best fighting the best, not like the ducking cherry picking fighters like Errol Spence, who has been ducking Terrence Crawford for more than 2 years. Unified champ Teofimo has also challenged the rest of the cherry pickers and duckers at PBC like Gervonta Davis and others to step up their game and make the fights that the fans want to see instead of cherry picking, ducking, and playing it safe. So let's chop that all up and see what we can come up with. All right, so we all saw the fight, Teofimo versus Loma. Was a great fight. Teofimo won the fight. Okay, he got the decision, 12-round fight. All I can tell you, people, is that it was a great fight. I mean, I really enjoyed that fight. Teofimo definitely stepped up to the plate. You know, I was leaning towards Lomachenko winning the fight based on his experience, his boxing IQ, and his, his overall ring generalship. However, I thought that Teofimo was not ready yet. I thought that he was, getting that fight too soon, and that he hadn't showed the necessary skill, boxing IQ to be able to, defeat a guy like Lomachenko. But Teofimo proved me wrong, not just me, but a host of other people who was betting against him on this fight. He definitely proved me wrong on this one. So the only thing I can say at this point is that congratulations to Teofimo. Great fight. And the king is dead. Long live the king. Okay, so this fight definitely shook up the lightweight division. And now it looks like, with the new king and the kingpin of the lightweight being Teofimo, we're going to see some, definitely we're going to see like some earth-shaking movement going on in the 140 pound, 135 pound, 130 pound division. So basically it looks like Teofimo, his father came on, did an interview after the fight, and post-fight interview, and his father basically, I mean, it was a great interview. His father did a great interview after that fight. I mean, I liked what he said. He spoke about Lomachenko. He thanked Lomachenko. He basically, he kind of surprised me the way he came out. He was very humble, not like he was, prior to the fight. I mean, I'm talking about Teofimo's father right now. And he said that Lomachenko is a great fighter and that he thanked Lomachenko for taking the fight and that Lomachenko showed championship caliber, in the later part of the round, which was I thought it was a great comment. Okay, I thought it was very big of him to say that. Okay, and he handled that like a real champion himself. That was a great thing to say. After you defeat the champ, so it was great overall. Teofimo came out and before I get to Teofimo, but his father was saying that Teofimo has been suffering at lightweight for almost 7 years now, and that he needs to move up because he can't really make lightweight much anymore. But I think he made mention of the fact that if Teofimo was to stay at lightweight, basically what he's saying that for Teofimo to stay at lightweight, he would have to he'd have to be worth his while. And he did mention Devin Haney, which is the same thing that Teofimo mentioned when he came out, for the post-fight interview. I can't really express how much I like what Teofimo said in that post-fight interview. I mean, this is how a champion conducts himself, and I'm just glad that he's a champion now. Okay, even though I didn't think he was going to win, but he did prove me wrong, and he did win, and I'm glad he's a champion because I like what he's saying. He's talking about, he made some great comments. The first thing they asked him about Devin Haney, and he said, hey, he want to move up, but, he'll take on, Devin Haney. He don't have no problem doing that, he felt, basically he accepted Devin Haney's challenge to become undisputed. And I like the fact that Teofimo's father also said that he didn't say that Teofimo was the undisputed champ. He said he's unified, which is the correct thing to say, because a lot of people out there, especially these ESPN announcers talking about undisputed, but Teofimo, even though he's the kingpin at 135 right now, he's not undisputed because he doesn't have the WBC belt. Okay, and to be undisputed, you need a WBC belt. All this talk about franchise belts and all this nonsense, I don't buy none of that. And it looks like Teofimo's father and Teofimo doesn't buy it either, and which is a great, I really like that, because that French fries belt, and that's what it is, a French fries belt, okay, is a joke. Okay, how can you be undisputed when you have another WBC champ, the world champ out there, and you're gonna call yourself undisputed? So I'm glad that Teofimo is not saying that he's undisputed, and I'm glad his father is not saying that either. So, and I'm glad that he immediately called out Devin Haney, okay, because that's what champions do. That's a breath of fresh air. I'm so glad to see that. He's not hiding and ducking and talking about, let these guys work their way up or this or whatever. He's just saying, okay, well, Devin Haney's the guy out there, he's a champion. He said he wants to fight, let's get it on. And that's what champions do. Not like Errol Spence, who, is out there ducking, jiving, shucking and jiving, making all kind of excuses as to why he can't fight Terrence Crawford, making fights to avoid fighting Terrence Crawford, fighting everybody else but Terrence Crawford. So, I guarantee you, if Teofimo was if Teofimo was the welterweight champion, he would have called out Terrence Crawford a long time ago, and he would have made that fight. Not like Errol Spence, who was ducking and shucking and jiving and trying to make up all kind of reasons why they can't fight Terrence Crawford. He even have his trainer coming out, and making excuses as to why, Errol Spence can't fight. It's not only Crawford, not only his fan, not only Spence, not only his fans, but even his trainer is coming out there making all kind of excuses, talking about, the fight won't sell if they fight Terrence Crawford, and Terrence Crawford got to fight somebody. All this nonsense that these guys are talking, man. It's just so old and so much bullshit. But, it looks like that's not the type of fighter Teofimo is going to be. He's a guy that's going to take all comers, okay, to prove that, who's the best, and he wants the best to fight the best right now, not 5 years from now or, 3 years from now. He wants to fight. He wants to make the fights right now. And I can't say how much, I can't really overstate how much, how good that is to hear that, okay? Because that's a great thing to hear. I'm glad he's the champion, and I'm glad he's making the move like a boss, which is what, you're supposed to do as a champion, okay? So potentially we could see him move up. Well, not potentially, he's definitely going to move up. He's probably going to fight Haney first. I'm not sure if they're going to fight at 135 or 140 pounds. We'll see, but he definitely wants to fight Haney, okay? But he's talking about moving up and fight, facing Ramirez or Josh Taylor, whoever the winner of that fight between them, whoever the winner of that fight is at 140 pounds. What's up, Vimo? Yeah, thanks for tuning in. Yeah, that Ramirez fight would be a great fight. If it's Ramirez that wins the championship between, Josh Taylor and Ramirez, that would be a great fight. Josh Taylor would be a great fight. Now it looks like, Teofimo is full of confidence now that he just beat the supposedly greatest fighter, pound for pound champion, #1 pound for pound champion in Vasily Lomachenko. I mean, I did have a high esteem of Lomachenko. I respected his boxing skills, his pedigree as a champion, but to call him pound for pound #1 was a big disservice to the real pound for pound #1, which is Terrence Crawford, and and then you have Andre Ward, which would be #2 pound for pound. I mean, so calling Lomachenko #1 pound for pound was just it was nonsense, really. But it's the hope insurance, as they say, the great white hope syndrome. Okay, you did that, they come along every once in a while, and so we all know what it's all about. But Teofimo, dethroned the king, Lomachenko, and now we have a new king at lightweight, which is great because I like his vibe. I like what he's saying. I like how he operates. It looks like he's going to be a real boss, a real kingpin at the division, whether it's 135 or 140 or 147. But he looked like he might be moving up eventually to 147. So I like what he's saying. That's all I can say. None of this ducking and that. I mean, he even came out and said that he wants guys like Gervonta Davis to start fighting guys like making real fights instead of just cherry picking and doing all the things that they're doing. Making basically ruining boxing. So I mean, I love that he said that. I love that he called out all these guys at lightweight and tell them to step up their game. Okay, because what he did was I mean, we can't really overstate his accomplishment. I mean, that was a great accomplishment what he did after so many fights. Not that many fights. He challenged himself, challenged Lomachenko, and he came out on top. I mean, and that's what fighters need to do. I mean, we gotta congratulate Lomachenko. He for accepting the fight. I mean, he could have ducked it. He was the franchise champion, so he could have ducked the fight if he wanted to and make excuses like Errol Spence making excuses. He could have talked about the fight won't sell, all this nonsense that Errol Spence is talking about, with a fight with Crawford. Lomachenko could have done all that. He could have made all kind of excuses, but he didn't make an excuse. He accepted the challenge. Okay, he told when they first called him out, Lomachenko told Teofimo and his father to go get a belt, and then we'll see. And then when they went and got the belt, he said, "Okay, you got the belt. Let's get it on. Okay, since you got the belt, I'll accept your challenge. You did what you were supposed to do. Now I'm going to do what I'm supposed to do." And so he accepted the challenge, and we had the fight, and it was a great fight. If you remember, Crawford did the same thing. He called out Spence. He told Spence, he wanted to fight him, not just Spence, but Thurman and all the guys at 147. And they told him, go get a belt and then come back and see us. And so naturally, being the warrior that he was, Crawford went out, moved up from 140 pounds after cleaning out the 140 pound division, becoming undisputed 140 pounds. He moved up to 147 directly, no fight in between, challenged 147 WBO champion, and got the title. And after he got the title, he went back to Spence and all the other guys. As a matter of fact, he went to Spence face to face, and he rolled up on Spence and said, "Hey, you told me to go get the belt at 147. I got the belt. What's up?" And what did Spence do? Spence said something about, why don't he take the easier route and go and fight Sean Porter? And that's exactly what he did. You know, he avoided Terrence Crawford and fought Sean Porter. Now he's still avoiding Terrence Crawford. He's going to fight Danny Garcia. And we don't even know if he's going to fight Crawford after the Danny Garcia fight, because we hear his manager coming on talking about, you know, Ugas and this and that Spence don't have to fight Crawford to make his legacy at 147. Just, you know, I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, it's a shame. It's a shameful. I mean, it's basically it's shameful. I mean, that's all I can tell you. I mean, what these guys are doing at 147. You know, these PBC fighters, you know, ducking, cherry picking, shucking, jiving, okay, and you know, not fighting the fights that people want to see. But it looks like, you know, the 135-pound division is going to be the division of the future, because like we said, like I've said, you know, these guys at 147 not really making the fights that people want to see. We want to see the Crawford and Spence fight, but Spence, his trainer, and the whole team is doing everything in their power to avoid fighting Crawford. Okay, you know, when the fight, you know, is supposed to be made, which actually was 2 years ago, or maybe a year ago. This fight should have been made between Crawford and Spence. But here we are, you know, 2020 going on 2021, and that fight still hasn't been made, and Spence is still ducking, still, you know, trying to avoid the fight, still making excuses about why the fight, you know, he doesn't want. I mean, it's a shameful, it's a shameful thing, really. I mean, it's ridiculous. So, you know, this is where we're at. But all I can say, you know, is that I'm glad that Teofimo won the fight, because, like I said, it looks like he's going to be a people's champ. You know, someone that take the fight that people want him, you know, him to take, and who's not cherry picking or ducking. He wants the best. He considers himself to be the best, and he wants to fight the best. And that, man, is really, I can't really say enough. It's a breath of fresh air. Congratulations again to Teofimo. Great fight. Good job. Hopefully he's going to keep up the good work and do what he say he's going to do, and don't get involved in the politics, you know, and the ducking and the cherry picking that we see from the fighters at lightweight like Gervonta Davis and all the rest of these guys, and the welterweight like Spence and all of these guys ducking and jiving. So, you know, hopefully he doesn't turn to that, doesn't become that, okay? And from what I'm seeing, it looks like he's not going to do that. So if he's going to move up to 140 pounds and fight, you know, like his father said, he wants to move to 140. So that means he's going to be up there fighting, you know, the guys at 140, and that the Ramirez fight will be a great fight. The Josh Taylor fight will be a great fight. A lot of good fights at 140 pounds for Teofimo, and I'm definitely looking forward to see how he's going to do at 140 pounds. And based on how fast he's moving, it shouldn't be too long before we see him at 147 pounds, okay? It looks like he's taking the express train to greatness, okay? And it's a great thing to see. So, yeah, great fight. I mean, I must admit, I didn't really expect, I never really thought that Teofimo could box the way he did. He surprised me, his boxing IQ against Lomachenko. I mean, you know, he basically made Lomachenko look like an ordinary fighter. I mean, you know, it's a kind of Floyd Mayweather type of thing. That's what Floyd Mayweather does, and look like he's, you know, he's going in that direction. I mean, it was a great fight. You know, a great strategy that they did, you know, against Lomachenko. They had a great game plan, and he came in there and he executed the game plan, not to perfection, but the closest you can get, considering that, you know, who he was up against. Because, you know, we can say what we want to say about Lomachenko. He lost the fight, but that doesn't mean that he's not a great fighter. Okay, I mean, he's a great fighter. He actually showed us his championship caliber from around the 7th round to the 11th round, and it just that he, you know, on the judges' card he came up short. But I mean, he did show us his championship pedigree. Okay, and he wanted the fight, and you know, he wanted to win the fight. And Teofimo's father made the same point, that he respected Lomachenko because it looked like Lomachenko really wanted the fight, and he really came in there and did what he wanted. He actually tried to make the fight as opposed to trying to stay away from his son. And so yeah, I mean, it was a great night overall, man. I mean, it was a great night for boxing. Okay, new champion, a breath of fresh air, a great guy in Teofimo. I like what his father said after the fight. I like that he complimented Lomachenko even after all that bitterness that was the bitterness that pre-fight. But he made a point that hey, he said all the things he said because he really wanted to fight, and now that they had to fight, there's no point in him going on like that anymore. And I mean, it was great. I mean, I really have a lot of respect for Lomachenko. I have a lot of respect for Teofimo, and I have a lot of respect for his father. They really did a great job. They executed what they said they was gonna do, and I don't know what else to say. I'm as happy as I can be. Okay, that's all I can tell you. Even though I picked Lomachenko to win, I'm glad that Teofimo won. I'm not mad. I think he's gonna be good for the 135-pound division. I think he's gonna be good for boxing. Period. Okay, so yeah. Great overall night, man. It was a great night, and again, I want to congratulate Teofimo. Now, people, Ricardo Martinez, he's saying Loma lost to unknown Russian bomb, slow journeyman, Toledo. I mean, hey, look, man, look, guys, let's not get carried away with all the, with all the, saying all these detrimental things about, yeah, we know that there's a great white hope syndrome out there, and that all these people like ESPN commentators and the like was pushing Lomachenko to say he was the number one pound for pound when we all know he was not. But you already know that's how boxing goes. I mean, that's what these guys do. These announcers and these people, commentators and the like. Okay, they always pushing that great white hope syndrome. A great white hope comes along every once in a while, but we gotta admit that Lomachenko had the goods. You can't say he was overhyped. Okay, he was overhyping him to say he was number one pound for pound, but we can't say that he was overhyped in terms of his boxing IQ, his skill, his ring pedigree, his record, the two-time gold medal Olympic champion, his 400 fights. I mean, come on, guys. You can't say the man was overhyped. Okay, the man was a legitimate fighter. Okay, a legitimate champion. Okay, who fought other champions, and a three-time, 3-division champion as well. Okay, so basically what we saw against Teofimo was that we saw Lomachenko moving up from 126 to 130 to 135. So you can't expect him to, naturally the more he moves up, the tougher his fights are going to be. Okay, until he eventually, ran into somebody like Teofimo, who was bigger, stronger, just as fast. Okay, had to say, a good boxing IQ, and we saw what happened. He just lost to the better man that night. Okay, so we can't dismiss the man because he lost. I mean, this is the kind of thing that we gotta stop in boxing. Okay, you can't just dismiss somebody and say they overhyped, they no good because they lost a fight against a better fighter. Lomachenko could still go down to 130 and dominate. Okay, because that's where he actually belongs. And if we look at what went on, we see that really and truly, just like Teofimo's father said, Teofimo is really a 140 pounder. He's been suffering at 130, trying to make a 135 pound for 7 years. Okay, so really what we had in this fight was Teofimo is actually a 140 pounder fighting at 135 pounds, and Lomachenko is actually a 130 pounder fighting at 135 pounds. Okay, so that's what we really had. Okay, and so really, if you look at it, it's really a 2-weight division jump that Lomachenko was doing in this fight. He's actually a 130-pound fighter that was fighting a 140-pound fighter. Okay, and so this is what it really is. So we can't say that Lomachenko is overhyped. No, he's not overhyped. He's not old. He's not out of, no, we can't diminish Teofimo's accomplishment by saying that Lomachenko was overhyped. No, okay, he was a great fighter. He still is a great fighter, and he will be a great fighter at 130 pounds, just like he's always been. So it's just that he made a bigger, stronger, faster guy, a guy just as good as he was in terms of skills, and he got beat. Okay, there's no shame in that. Okay, it is what it is, guys. So you can't, stop with the, dismissing the man's accomplishment. The guy Lomachenko is a great fighter, okay? One of the best to come along, and he got beat by one of the young guns out there, like, you know, Teofimo, another best to come along, okay? Another great, our future great, okay? So this talk about, you know, Lomachenko not being any good, nah, I'm not buying it. I'm sorry. And Teofimo did a pretty good job, great job actually. Teofimo, great job. I gotta give it to him. I mean, Lomachenko couldn't do the thing that he wanted to do that he usually does against other fighters, and we saw that, you know. And we got to give credit to the game plan that, you know, Teofimo came in there with, that his father had, and it was a great plan. I mean, and he went out there and executed it, and he did it very well. So, you know, I mean, at the end of the day, I saw the fight. I looked at it. I thought it would, you know, probably close to a draw. I would be a draw. You know, I would have said it was a draw, but I'm not mad at the decision at all, because, I mean, you know, when I saw what he did with Lomachenko, when I looked at it and looked at the fight, I mean, he made he basically stopped Lomachenko from doing anything that really most of what he wanted to do, except for like around the 8th to the 11th round when Lomachenko was mounting his comeback, and, you know, and we saw, you know, the pedigree in Lomachenko, you know, landing combination shots. But I would say one thing, that, you know, that Crawford, excuse me, I'm looking at the chat saying Crawford, you know, one thing about, you know, one thing I like about the fact of what Teofimo is saying right now, in that, you know, I mean, he immediately said that he want to fight Devin Haney. No, you know, no shade, no, you know, making excuses, none of the, you know, shucking and jiving. He said, I want to fight Devin Haney. He's next. He said he's WBC champion. Yeah, I wouldn't mind taking him on next. No problem. I have no problem with fighting him next. And I love that, okay? Because, you know, he could have did like Errol Spence, okay? He could have, you know, he is the franchise champion, and he could have said, he could have took the Errol Spence route, okay? The way Errol Spence been ducking Crawford for 2 years. He could have said, oh man, I'm not really ready. I don't want to fight these guys. They need to fight somebody else, or do this or do that. They need to jump through 5-10 hoops, you know, do flip-flops, and then they have to come and fight me. He could have said that. He could have done that, because he's the champion now. He's the unified champion at 135 pounds. He could have made all kind of excuses. That would have been great excuses, and the excuses would have flew. But he didn't make any excuses. He said, no, I want to fight Devin Haney. I want to fight the best. I'm the best, and I want to fight the best. And then he went even further and told all the other young champions out there, you know, this is the new generation, and we got to fight each other, okay? We need to fight each other, okay? Fight the best. I have to fight the best. And the man, I can't tell you how much I love what this man is talking. I love the talk. He's talking the talk, walking the walk. And it's great for boxing, man. I love it. I mean, it's great for boxing, okay? Man, congratulations, Teofimo. I love what you're saying. I love, you know, that you want to fight the best. And I hope you, you know, stay true to that and don't get caught up in all the politics and the cherry pickers and the duckers that we see at 147 and, you know, with the PBC guys that's out there, you know? Yeah, definitely. I agree with you, Martinez. You got to give credit where credit is due, okay? Yeah, I mean, definitely congrats to Teofimo. Definitely Spence is ducking Crawford. There's no doubt about it. We can, you know, people can say what they want to say, but, you know, he's definitely ducking Crawford, and everybody knows it. Anybody that watch boxing and know anything about boxing know that they don't want nothing to do with Crawford, and they make all kind of excuses to duck him. And I can see, I'm glad that Teofimo is not doing that. He's not going to try to duck Devin Haney, okay? And it's great for boxing, man. That's all I can say, you know? I think it's a great day in boxing right now, and I'm loving it, you know? You know, I'm just looking forward to see who he's actually going to fight next, if it's going to be Devin Haney, or it's going to be somebody else, or he's going to move to 140 right away and then tell Devin Haney to come up and fight him, or what he's going to do. But whatever he does, I mean, I'm sure it's going to be, you know, something bold, you know, because this guy doesn't seem to lack balls at all, okay? And that's great. Definitely a great thing for boxing. So Martinez, who do you think would win between Teofimo and Ramirez? Yeah, so it looks like you know, based on what we saw against Lomachenko from Teofimo, I mean, it looks like that Comey fight was no fluke. Okay, so you know, I mean, a lot of people were saying that that fight was a fluke. You know, that could possibly be a luck. I mean, even I was saying that, but I mean, based on his performance, you know, against Lomachenko, I mean, we can't doubt him anymore. I mean, the man is the real good. And at the end of the day, even if he had lost that fight with Lomachenko, I would still be giving him props because he would have done a great job. I mean, he did a great job. You know, much better than I've seen anybody else do against Lomachenko. Granted, he's a much bigger guy than Lomachenko, and that's the problem with Lomachenko right now. I think that he, you know, these guys are lightweight like Teofimo and the other guys like Devin Haney and guys like that. It's just too big for him. I think he needs to go back down to 130 and stay there, okay, and fight the guys there and try to become unified, try to become undisputed at 130 pounds. Okay, that's his next challenge. I think he should do that. Go back down to 130 pound super featherweight and fight to become undisputed there, because the guys that lightweight just too big for him, too strong, too fast, and that he can't really handle these guys, you know. So I mean, I could be wrong, but we'll see what happens. If he's gonna come back and try to still campaign, I try to get a rematch against Teofimo, or is he just gonna, you know, move back down to 130 pounds? It should be interesting to see what he does from here on forward, you know. But yeah, great fight, man. Great night for boxing. Teofimo, the new kingpin of the lightweight division, and looks like he's gonna go for undisputed against Devin Haney, which should be another great match. You know, and it should be interesting to see who's gonna win that fight. Yeah, definitely. Okay, so yeah, I'm loving it right now. I'm loving boxing right now, you know, and I'm loving what Teofimo is saying. I think he should, you know, relax for a little while, take some time off, soak it all in, you know, enjoy the moment, and, you know, then come back and do his thing, okay? And he definitely deserves it. Congratulations to him again. And I hope, you know, to see him in the ring, not in the near future, you know, sometime in the near future. Yeah, definitely. So now I guess the lightweight division is kind of shooken up now. You know, I'm not sure. You know, like I said, we don't know what route Loma is going to take. If he's going to go back down to 130 pounds, if he's going to come back at lightweight and challenge, you know, try to get a rematch. You know, Teofimo mentioned, you know, Devin Haney, mentioned Teofimo. I mean, he mentioned Shakur Stevenson. He mentioned Gervonta Davis. So he mentioned all the young guns that are, you know, at 130 pounds and 135 pounds. And, you know, he's talking about everybody, all these guys fighting each other. And, you know, it's great to hear that, man. And hopefully these guys, you know, will take him up on it, you know, take him up on his challenge to them, and actually start fighting each other and making a fight that actually count, and the fight that people actually want to see, you know, instead of ducking and dodging and fighting these cherry-picking fights that, you know, their team is coming up with to avoid making the real fight, you know, just so they can keep an oath or whatever that is, you know. So yeah, I'm looking forward to you know, what we're going to see in the coming months and years for the lightweight, you know, for the lightweight division, because I'm pretty sure Shakur Stevenson will be moving up soon. You know, he said he's going to fight at 130. I think he wants to. Supposedly, I think he called out Jamel Herring, who was the WBO champion at 130 pounds, and I don't know if that fight is going to be made, but it should be an interesting fight. You know, and we'll see what he does after that if that fight is made, and Shakur actually win, because I'm pretty sure he'll probably be the favorite, you know, to beat Herring. But we don't know. I mean, Herring, you know, he seems to be a pretty good fighter, and I'm not thinking that he's just gonna give up his belt just like that without a fight. So it'll be interesting to see what happened in that fight. Then you have, you know, Michel Berchelt, okay, Miguel Berchelt there as well. You know, you have Jojo Diaz there, okay, and you got Jamel Herring, and you know, and then you got Santa Cruz. He's also a 130-pound champion. Yeah, so a lot of exciting fights out there from 130 pounds up to 140. Okay, a great fight that could be made, you know, with these guys. Okay, and I'm looking forward to, you know, a lot of these fights. Yeah, I mean, I can't say enough about this fight, you know, with Teofimo. I was really impressed with what he did in there. His composure, you know. I mean, he put up a great fight, man. I just can't say enough about it. I mean, and you know, more than the fight itself, I just can't say enough about what he's been talking about, you know, in terms of taking on the rest of the lightweight people, lightweight division, you know, the fighters in lightweight. I mean, which is only actually it's only Devin Haney left the lightweight for him to fight. Okay, once he makes that fight, he can just move up to 140 pounds and, you know, take on some guys up at 140. And at the rate he looked like he's grown, he'd probably be 147 before we know it. So maybe he would just fight the 140 pound for the 140 pound title, undisputed or unified, and then probably move up immediately to 147 pounds. So we'll see what happens. You know, I mean, I'm thinking that if he moves up to 140, he'd probably be a lot stronger than he is now, and probably have more power, because, you know, it's hard for him to make lightweight, it seems like. Okay, and I think, you know, he probably, you know, fighting weight drain a lot of times when he's out there fighting, and so making 140 would be a lot easier for him, and he'd probably, you know, end up at 147. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to that. I hope he does move up eventually and fight, you know, whoever is going to be the champion at 140 pounds. Should be a great fight, whether it's Taylor or Ramirez. Should be a, you know, magnificent fight, really. And so, you know, look like the champions are full of confidence now that he done, you know, beat Lomachenko. You know, all the hype. I mean, there was a lot of hype surrounding Lomachenko, naturally. I mean, I'm not sure I don't think it's, you know, necessarily that Lomachenko is hyping himself up, but, you know, the people around him, you know, the commentators, you know, the Teddy Atlases of the world, and the, you know, Max Kellerman of the world, and all these other guys out there, you know, hyping up Lomachenko. You know, like I said, it's the great white hope syndrome. But, you know, not to say that Lomachenko wasn't a great fighter, because he was. I mean, we can't, you know, dismiss him because he lost to Teofimo. Okay, he's a great fighter, and he's still a great fighter. But it's just like I said, it's just that these guys at lightweight, like Teofimo, you know, the big guy, strong guy, fast, got skills. So, you know, these guys are a little bit too big for Loma. Okay, I mean, when I looked at them in the ring, you know, it looked like, I mean, you can see the size difference. I mean, you know, Teofimo was just so big and tall. I mean, he wasn't that much taller than him, but he was huge compared to Lomachenko, you know. And so it was difficult for Lomachenko to get inside, but I don't think it had much to do with the size in terms of him getting inside on Teofimo. I think that Teofimo just had the strategy to keep him out, okay, and he couldn't really do the things he did against other fighters. I mean, they actually had a strategy to actually win against Lomachenko, and it looked like, you know, those shots that Lomachenko, that Teofimo was landing to the body, even though it wasn't combination, it looked like they were hurting Lomachenko, you know. So yeah, I think that they had a great strategy in this fight, and they executed to perfection, basically. You know, it was a great fight. Definitely a great fight. Now we have a we have a real champ at 140 pounds, I mean 135 pounds, okay? And Teofimo, a guy that's gonna represent the titles like a champion is supposed to do, take all comers and, you know, fight the best, okay? And that's great, you know. I just want to say again, congratulations to Teofimo. Great fight. Hope to see what Lomachenko is going to do from here on in. I'm looking forward to see what, you know, decision he's going to make in terms of whether or not he's going to move back to 130 pounds and try to become undisputed there, or if he's going to come back at lightweight, okay? And so we'll see what happens. It's definitely a lot to look forward to in the lightweight division right now. So I'm hearing that there's some talk about a new weight division, you know, between cruiserweight and heavyweight, and you know, so I mean that, you know, WBC's at it again. I don't know what they're doing, but I guess there could be a new weight division. There could be a super cruiserweight. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. But I hope they're not, you know, I mean, but we'll see what happens. It sounds interesting. I mean, cause there's a big, you know, the big difference between from, you know, like light heavyweight to cruiserweight and from cruiserweight to heavyweight. So, you know, maybe we could use a super cruiserweight division out there, or a junior heavyweight division. Okay, so we'll see what happens with that. So it sounds interesting. I gotta look up the details of it. I just heard it on some other channel out there. They were talking about it when I was cruising the internet, and I saw it. So we'll see what happens with that. Definitely looking forward to it. Right now, we haven't heard from, you know, we don't know what's going on with the Deontay Wilder. It looks like the Deontay Wilder Tyson Fury fight might definitely be off. You know, don't hear anything we haven't heard from Deontay Wilder still. And you know, December is right around the corner. So it looks like that fight is not going to happen this year. And like I said before in other videos, I don't think it probably should happen, because I don't think there's going to be much difference than the second fight, because Deontay Wilder really needs to go back to the drawing board, you know, go back to basics, get his technique and his skills together, maybe take some time off after such a, you know, brutal beating, and take a little time off, take a year off, come back in 2022 and, you know, see what he can do from there. You know, I don't blame him if that's what he's going to do. I'm not, you know, I think that would be a good thing for him to do, because after such a fight, you know, where he lost it in, you know, in such a way, he probably needs some time off, and he needs to, you know, like I say, he needs to improve on his boxing technique anyway. So take a year off, do that, and then come back, you know, and see what you can do. Or if you don't want to come back, just retire and just leave it at that. I mean, he's done enough in boxing for right now to where he should be able to retire if that's what he wants to do. Okay, but I doubt if he's going to do that. I'm pretty sure he'll probably come back. I mean, he only lost one fight, so it's not the end of the world. Okay, and there's a lot of good fights out there for him still. Okay, a lot of great fights. You know, you got White, you got Povetkin, you got Usyk, you got Parker. So there's a lot of fights out there for him. I mean, you know, so I hope he doesn't retire just yet. Maybe get another year or two in the game and get some big money fights, you know, and go out in a blaze of glory. So yeah, you know, so I don't know. I mean, after last night, you know, actually the night before last now, you know, after such a high, really, you know, I don't know what, I mean, I gotta see what's coming up next in boxing that's gonna give us what we had last night. That was, I mean, night before last, Saturday night. That was a great fight, and so it's, you know, it's gonna be a hard act to follow, you know, for the fights that's coming up next. But we have some good fights coming up. We got the Spence versus Garcia fight, you know, even though I really want to see the Crawford versus Spence fight, but hey, what can we do? You know, these guys don't want to step up to the plate and do what they need to do. But I still want to see, you know, how that fight is gonna go. between Spence and Garcia. Okay, should be an interesting fight. We got the Ryan Garcia fight and against Campbell. Okay, Luke Campbell, which should be another interesting fight. Okay, and we also got Tyson Fury is supposed to be fighting December 5th against Ajagbe from England. So there's some good fights coming up in the next few weeks. Okay, and the next month or so. So yeah, I'm looking forward to what's coming up next. But again, congratulations to Teofimo. Congratulations to Lomachenko. Put on a great fight. It was a great night for boxing. We have a new champion now. And definitely, I think it looks like he's going to be a real champion, a champion that's going to go out there and take all comers and fight the best fights. And I can't wait to see what he does next. Okay, so yeah, congratulations, Teofimo. Keep up the good work, my man. Hope to see you soon. And great work, definitely a great job. And I like your energy. I hope you keep the same energy. This is TBE. I think that's all I have for right now. Unless somebody want to say something, I'm going to leave it there. Okay, so this is TBE Boxing. I'm out.